Hello Internet, welcome back to part 2 of my JavaScript prototype of Asteroids. The first thing I'm going to do in this episode is add controls. So down here by the end of the script, I'm going to add two event listeners. Add event listener for key down and key up. Key down, then when it will call key handler, a function I'm yet to make, and I'm going to include an object back here called passive, or with a property called passive that is false. I'm not exactly sure why, but in the last game I made, it wasn't working because of that for some reason. All right. Now I'm going to come up here and put the keys is an object that's going to hold any keys that are pressed, and key handler is a function that takes an event, and in this function we need to switch between the types, those being key down and key up. So case key down and case key up. There's one thing I need to do first though, which is e.prevent default. This will prevent arrow keys from scrolling your screen when you just want them to control your player. So in both these we need to go keys e.keycode equals true, and the other one we just need to delete it. So delete keys e.keycode. Another thing we want to do in key up is call start game from here. If you call it from start down, then when you start game you're already moving. So if you hit in key up, that solved that problem for me when I was first working this out. So I'm going to make a start game function down here. Fat arrow, and then this is going to set running to true, needs to equals true, and then no, I'm going to use, okay. So, then we need to do something with these controls. Now that anytime a key is pressed, it's going to be represented in keys, we can make a check controls function equals, and it's going to take delta time. And so in here we just go if keys 37, which is the left arrow. Then we want to go player dot direction minus equals player dot turn speed times dt over 1000. So dt over 1000 is the number of seconds that have passed in seconds, not milliseconds. dt is in milliseconds, and so the milliseconds times turn speed is how we find out how fast it turns. Then we want to go else if keys 39, which is the right arrow, then the same thing but in the other direction, plus equals player dot turn speed times dt over 1000. And then to move forward, we want to say if keys 38, which is the up arrow, then, alright, we need to chain a couple commands here. I'm going to actually put curly brackets there. Go player dot acceleration dot v from d. So we want to find, copy the direction our player is facing, which is player dot dir. As a unit vector into the acceleration, and then we're going to scale that to the player dot acceleration speed. I actually don't need that there. I thought I was going to do that in more than one line, but it only did it in one line. We'll see if I'm forgetting something. Alright, so now we need to call check controls right before we call update. Check controls, delta time, and let's see if that works. Alright, so I click to make it work, and it does not appear to be working. Nope, it is not working. What have I done wrong? Oh, I know what I need to do. In start game, I need to then call tick in start game. And delta time. Because it's not already updating, I need to update it. The first update here only goes once, and then it stops, and then I have to call it again there. So now, if I do this, and I click here, and then I can turn. And I can get an error when I try and move forward. I cannot find property scale of undefined. Alright. Undefined. Property scale. I did not return this. Alright, let's try that again. Alright. We'll move around and grab on this top and bottom. It's moving pretty smoothly. We'll see how long it takes for my computer to slow down. Alright, I'm actually going to reload this now so it will stop updating and my computer can rest. Alright, what do we need to do next? Let's make bullets. So in controls, we're also going to check if keys 32, which is the space bar, then we want to fire a bullet. And then we obviously need to make a fire bullet. I'm going to put start game at the bottom. Fire bullet equals... Alright, so I'm not going to be using any, I'm not going to use an object pool or any broad phase collision detection. I'm just doing a really quick prototype. I might add those in later episodes, but for the for starters here, I'm just going to make this a new bullet. I need something to hold my bullets though. So I'm going to go bullets equals object. Actually, I'm going to make the asteroids right now too. Why not? Equals an object. And then fire bullets, we want to go, I want another, right, so I'm not actually using this one. I often use that variable. I'm going to make an object variable. And I'm going to go object equals new actor. Right, so something I didn't do down here was give the player a type. The stage doesn't need a type because it's not being updated, but the player needs a type to differentiate itself from bullets and asteroids. Then come back up here to fire bullets. It needs a type bullet. Let's make its width 8 and its height 8, and then I need to set its position. Instead of setting its position there, it'll be easier for me to just use its velocity and copy, or sorry, its position, and copy the player's position. That way it'll start right on top of the player. And then its velocity, we want it to be moving in the direction the player is facing. So much like we did with the player's velocity when moving forward, we're going to vector from direction the player's velocity, or player direction. So, and then we need to scale it to however fast we want bullets to move. I could hard code that right here. Let's just make that a constant. All bullets will move at the same speed. So we'll go bullet speed, well, will be based at the same speed. It'll change depending on how fast the player is moving. But bullet speed equals, I think 800 was a good number. And then, so we'll scale this to bullet speed, and then let's move to a new line. Actually, dot add player, yeah, there's not enough space there. And then we add the player's velocity so that if the player is moving really fast, the bullet isn't moving slower than the player or something. It just looks a lot better like that. All right, so the next thing we need to do is we need to add this object to the bullets object. So we go bullets, square brackets, object.id, this is where the IDs come in handy, equals the object itself. And then up in render and update, we need to update and render them. So we will go, do I have to make an I here as well. So, update for I equals 0. No, that's not what I need. I could probably just do this with object. For object in bullets, bullets. Yeah, I don't like that though. I like that one better being I. Oops. Bullets I dot update, and it needs delta time. And then we do the same thing in render. So player.render, we'll do bullets after, I guess. And then instead of this, we give it the CTX, and we call render. And then we need to go up to the actor and make them render differently based on their type. So update. Let's save, translate, rotates. So here we want to switch this dot type and case player break case bullets break and case asteroid break. So for now, let's just keep the player as a square. I'll fix that in a minute. For the bullet and asteroid, we're just going to use circles for both. So we're going to add another utility function up here after canvas, and it's going to be fill circle because there's a fill rect but not a fill circle, and it's going to take x, y, and a radius. CTX as well. This is one place where I could use that, but I didn't. Alright. So here we need to take the CTX, begin path, CTX.arc, and this gives x, y, radius, math.pi times 2, which is a full circle. We're not making any partial circles. And I believe false, because that one's asking whether it's going left to right or right to left, which doesn't matter because we're making a full circle. And then ctx.fill. So you'll have to set fill style before calling this, which this is being done right here. Let's make our bullets red and our player white. ctx.fill style equals white. No. And then fill circle, ctx, The arc function draws from the center, so I don't need to offset it by negative this dot width over 2, so I can just hit 0, 0, and then this dot width over 2 will be the radius, and that should be all. One thing, a couple things I'm going to need. The player's going to need a firing speed in milliseconds, how many milliseconds it'll wait before letting you fire again, and the last time it fired at a firing timer, so firing time equals 0. In update, I'm going to switch between this dot type and the player. We're going to this dot firing time minus equals delta time, and if it's the bullets, this dot life minus equals delta time, and then down here in update, so I'm going to be using it more than once. That's another reason I use underscore I there, is because I'm going to use object here. Object equals bullets I, and then object.update if object.life is less than or equal to 0, we are going to delete bullets object.id, that needs an underscore. Alright, so is that everything? We got firing speed. I didn't check for firing speed though, so I'm going to go if player dot firing time is greater or is less than 0. Actually no, do it this way. If it's greater than 0, we're going to return. Otherwise it will be less than 0, in which case we can go player dot firing time equals player dot firing speed for it to start counting down again. I think that is all we need to get bullets firing. Let's see if I've forgotten anything. Alright, it's white, bullets. No bullets. Did I tell them to render? Render. I did tell them to render. Let's see what I'm forgetting. So here appears to be the problem right there. I've added an extra L to bullet. So let's save that, come back over here, reload it, and yes, we have bullets. And they wrap around, they go at a good speed. And I'm not going to push that too far because I'm not using any object pooling, and it will start to slow down my computer while I'm recording. Alright, so the next thing we're going to need is we're going to need asteroids. So down here by fire bullet, we're going to want a spawn asteroid function. And what do we need to spawn an asteroid? We're going to be passing in the position. Object equals new actor type asteroid. X is going to equal O dot X. Y is going to equal O dot Y. And then width is going to equal O dot width. I don't actually think I need a height for well, I'm going to include a height anyway. Oops, that should be... I would need a height if I was using broad phase, which I might put in later, so I'll just put this in for ease. Alright, so we have a new object. It's got a x, y, width, and height. We need to set its direction. Let's just see. Let's get one drawing first. So in our actor under render, we're going to go ctx.fill style equals gray. It will be gray. And then fill circle ctx 00 this dot width over 2. And then let's spawn an asteroid. Sorry, let's do it in start game. Spawn asteroid. The object, we're going to spawn it at 10 y 10, just so it's not right on the edge. And then we're going to make it 64 wide and 64 tall. And it didn't spawn an asteroid. Oh, it might have. I'm just not updating or rendering them. So I'm going to copy the one for bullets and simply change bullet to asteroids. And then let's render. Let's see if that... No, it doesn't start. Right. Okay, so asteroid, did I spell that one properly? Asteroid. Why was that not? Okay, first one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to if running. Oops. We draw all of this. And then else we're just going to type asteroids. So we're going to go ctx.font equals I think 80 pixel Futura. Oops. And then ctx.fill text title. The X we want to go no, we want the full screen, so we want inner width over 2 minus ctx dot measure text title let's minus title over 2, and then we'll just put it at 200 pixels down. There, that should give us nothing. Let's draw the background before we check if it's running. And then over here, we need to set the fill style of our text. So ctx.fill style equals black. Sure. And it is not filling it there. Width over 2 ctx.measure text. Is that not? Oh, title.width. Width over 2. I think that should do it. There, asteroids centered, and then when you hit a button, it gives us this. Now we can find out where our asteroids are. So we're calling update, and we should be rendering them. Spelled properly. That's spelled properly. I'm not adding it. That is my problem. So I need to go asteroids dot not push asteroid square bracket object dot id equals object. And the same way I did with fire bullet, I'm going to change the velocity here, but I'll do that in a minute. There, I have an asteroid. I can shoot at it, but my computer doesn't like doing it while recording, so I'll not subject you to that. Alright, let's make our asteroid move just slightly. So we're going to give the asteroid a bit of a random direction, but also if it spawns immediately after another asteroid breaks, it's going to take in some of that. So I also need to position it. So, okay, here's another. I'm going to go spawn asteroids equals, I can't remember just now. I think I will need the parent object that it's spawning from. I don't need that for the first one though. Where do I have spawn asteroid? Oh, in start game. Spawn asteroid. The parent for this is going to be the player. So that the first time, or at the beginning of every level, it's going to spawn asteroids in a circle around the player, or a rough circle. So in order to give this a random velocity, we're going to take its velocity, we're going to v from d, going to take a random direction. Right, that's another utility function I'm going to write up here. After full circle is random direction equals function. And I'm going to return math dot random times math dot pi times 2. I can actually just go like this if I want. That should work. So down here in spawn asteroid, going to take a random direction, and this will give us a unit vector, so we need to scale it to the speed we want it to go, which is not very. We also need to add to it its parent's direction if unless its parent is a player, but that's only at the beginning of every round, and the player won't have any speed at the beginning of the round, so it wouldn't be a problem anyway. So we take a random direction, we get a unit vector from it. Let's scale asteroid speed, which I will make up here by bullet speed, because why not? Asteroid speed equals, I think this one needs to be really slow. It's one asteroid. So we're going to scale asteroid speed and then dot add o dot parent dot velocity. So let's see if that gives us a moving asteroid. It does. It's moving to. Oh, it gives us another one. Why is? Oh, I forgot to check something. In start game, I need to. Actually, no. I need to do it in controls and say if we're not running, then we attempt to start the game. There, that should solve that problem. And there, I can press buttons and it doesn't try to start game. That's why it was slowing down the last time, is because I was holding buttons down and it was restarting the game over and over and over again. So, alright, we have moving asteroids, we have shooting bullets, and they all wrap. And so I think in the next video we're going to start getting the interactions down. You can shoot the asteroid, it'll break into parts, and if you hit an asteroid you will die and you'll start over. And then if you kill all the asteroids, or if you break all the asteroids down, then it'll start a new level. Until then, I will see you later.